This is honestly the worst example of editing a wedding. Hey, what is up everyone? I hope you are doing well. Today we're going to walk through a wedding edit. So we are going to talk through just how I would go through editing a wedding. This is honestly the worst example of editing a wedding for me. There's plenty of weddings where I've had everything that I needed that I would love to show you that. And this one in particular is not. This is actually an oddball type of wedding where the wedding was split up into 2 days. There wasn't a lot of budget and I couldn't hire anyone out to help me film this wedding. So typically I'm only worried about one task on a day. I was worried about photography and videography and also capturing audio for the day, which usually results in something suffering. And you know, it never fails. Something always suffers when you try to do more than what you really are capable of doing. So the big three for me when editing wedding videos is to make sure that I have these three things. One is good audio. Make sure you have clean audio from a toast, from the bride and groom sharing a note or reading a note to each other, or making sure that you have some audio from the live experiences of the wedding day. So, putting a shotgun microphone on your camera and make sure you get some live footage of them getting dressed and getting ready, just what it sounds like on that day that helps tell the story, or having someone give a good, clean, articulated toast, miking them up during the toast and making sure you capture that. I do have that, and I was able to use the audio that I had from that. I just had to tweak it a little bit and make sure that it sounded good enough to go into the wedding film, and it did. And that usually helps me move the story along, helps me tell a story of what happened that day. Long story short, the audio that we do have is pretty bad. A lot of these types of videos are going to be you problem solving and figuring out how to tell a story from what you have. Especially when you're first starting out, you're not going to have the capability of having a good team or having people there with you. So in a way, this is a good example, but it's also the worst example of how to do it. What we're going to talk about is when you have a wedding, like what's a good way to structure it so that you know kind of what to do. So each wedding has its own problem, it has its own issues. You can see where I am right now is I found a song, which is another hurdle you have to go through. I tend to use Epidemic Sound, a great affordable way to get music. And I also tend to use MusicBed, which is a little bit more expensive, but also has better quality music and more original sounding music as well. I tend to do things chronologically. I try to develop a system and a structure for it. So what I've done is I've gone through and looked at some of the footage that I have and picked out my best parts or my favorite parts. So I go through the footage and I find the stuff that I like and I separate them into events. The next thing you want to do is make sure that you have some good B-roll. Make sure you have B-roll that captures tight, medium, and wide shots of every pose and every situation that you have. If you have someone dancing, make sure you get a tight, medium, and wide shot of that. If you have a cake, make sure you get a tight, medium, and wide shot of that. And make sure you have a lot of the couple together. The couple holding each other, loving on each other, kissing, doing things like that. Making sure that you get a tight, medium, and wide shot of that so that you can have enough B-roll to play over that storytelling element. In the front here, I just have some B-roll, some of my favorite B-roll from outside of the venue. And then here I have some of my favorite B-roll of him getting ready and also walking outside in his outfit alone. Then I have some B-roll of them dancing with their parents. So that's her dancing with her dad. That's him dancing with his mom. Then I have some B-roll of the cake. And I'm gonna put some more B-roll right here. And then I have some B-roll of them eating the cake. Now these are all things that I can make into segments for the wedding film. What I like to do is to just tell bits of these stories at a time to keep things very interesting. So if I can tell a story of the cake, or if I can tell a story of her dancing with her father, it's okay to do it all at once, but it's cool to also tell it throughout the story, spread it out so that it's not just, taking up one portion of the film. It can be told throughout the film. The last thing you want to do is make sure you have good music. You want to have some good music to help tell that story. You want to have music that also has instrumental, but also may have some words. So if you don't have the audio element, you want to have a song that has some good words to tell the story of what you're trying to say. But it's also cool to have a mixture of both. Have some good audio from the day of, have some good instrumental, but also have the track that has some of that vocals on it as well. Covering those bases can help you have a good complete wedding film. What I'll do is I'll start to figure out what I want to do. Maybe I can do a couple of shots of this and then move this along somewhere else later on in the film, and then I'm just doing this to show you, and then add some shots here. So this is just an example of what you can do. But what I'm going to do is start to go through this and figure out how I really want to structure it. One of the things I like them to do is to give me a variety of wide and tight shots. And then I also like them to be as smooth as possible. So get rid of any jitters, unstable footage, and I just go through and I'll cut it to where I feel like, it would look good. I try to get close-ups, medium and tight shots of the same things, and that typically allows me to have enough footage to cut through, because we have all the good footage, and then all we have to do is really just place it where we feel like they work the best. And also I am shooting at 60 frames per second here, and this allows me to decide to slow it down if I want to. And typically I do, especially for films like this where I don't have a lot of audio. Like as I'm doing this, I'm getting a better understanding of like what I do have. And these are a lot of clips that I can use and intertwine throughout the film. So I am happy about that. I do have a ton of good clips. Good. All right. So I know that's going to be slow. And what is good is that I'm seeing that I have enough footage to cover the song here. So that's good. But I do need to go back and find some of the clips that I want. So when I started to structure this, I just tried to bring in some of the best clips that I have and tell the story as best as possible. So that's all I have for today. This video was just to show you a little bit more about how to organize the clips and how I set up a wedding film, and also what I look for when I'm trying to edit. You can find more videos like this on my Patreon. You can sign up to join that community today using the link down in the description below. It's pretty much a lot of these videos in longer form and more detail, where I talk specifically about how to do these things. I really appreciate you being a part of the community here at The Camera Hacks. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.